Hi, I'm Linda Hildeman.
And I'm Colby Michaud.
Together we make up LinCo Media, and we are here today to tell you about a project that we are exceedingly proud of called Once in a Lifetime. Once in a Lifetime is a 6-episode narrative musical podcast that is a queer love story about 2 women who fall in love at the very beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic.
I am Sam Dedian and I play Charlie.
And I'm Becca Lewis and I play Faith.
Their first couple of dates happen right before the stay-at-home orders, and so the course of the story is really taking an in-depth look about how the 2 of them navigate having this very, very new relationship where nobody's certain what's what yet, but they're not allowed to see each other.
I think the biggest reason we decided to make Once in a Lifetime into a podcast was because we wanted the world to have full access to the entire story.
It's really accessible for people who can't go to Broadway, people who maybe don't have a professional theater anywhere in their community or professional musical theater. They can connect the story from start to finish, all in audio format.
We're kind of changing the face of performing, more or less, going into podcast versus it being, in person on stage. We're using how the world is changing is obviously directly reflected in art, and this is a great example of that.
Our audience is going to be able to connect to this completely from their homes.
Charlie and I are a lot alike. I'm exposing myself a little bit in saying that, but I think Charlie is a very conscientious person when it comes to her students, when it comes to the kids that she works with.
Charlie brings a lot of baggage into this story. One of the biggest things is that she's this huge workaholic that gives her life to the kids and doesn't live a very balanced life because of it.
As a teacher who has lived and worked through this pandemic, I love how Linda has written about the struggles of being a social worker or an educator.
Faith, I definitely think, is very relatable, especially as you get into, as soon as COVID starts, she starts to kind of isolate herself. She is in her own way in a lot of ways. And I think that amount of anxiety and depression a lot of people can relate to that.
Both of them have a lot of emotional complications, and the world has a lot of emotional complications in this story. So it's a really interesting look at what we need to come through a national, global tragedy like this, something that changes the limits of our world and boxes us in and pushes us out at the same time.
There's a lot of power in taking a snapshot of the time that we're in and really focusing in on the humanity of it, really focusing in on the relationship or lack of relationship within a really quite a traumatic time.
I hope that when people hear the music, they don't just hear it, they feel it, because it is truly an expression of what we've gone through over this last year.
I love every song in this musical, but I think we might be on the same page. Yeah. Never Letting Go is definitely one of our favorites. I've been singing it all week.
How do we hold on to this flame without getting burned? We're engulfed and insane, but we're never letting go. No, we're never letting go.
This is a passion project for all of us involved, and while we could not be more excited with the level of dedication and talent that our cast is showing us, we do need your help to pay for studio time and to compensate our incredible cast.
We're doing this as an act of faith, and we hope you'll have some faith too.
And some Charlie.
Right.
Thank you so much for watching. With your help, we know that this could be a once-in-a-lifetime experience.